Thanks for staying with us. So our previous topic is important for me to remind our viewers that when we have conversations like this, there has to be a different perspective. So when people are sending messages saying that is somebody having a problem, it's not because of that. It's just to have a good conversation. So we have to have different perspective. Anyways, moving on now. Empowering women is crucial for building a stronger, more equitable society. By mobilizing women to take action, we can create positive change in communities. Through collective efforts, women can achieve significant civic goals. Understanding government policies, particularly monetary policy, is essential for women to navigate economic challenges. By grasping these concepts, women can make informed decisions about their financial lives. So economic literacy is very important for women. So today on the show, we're going to be we have with us somebody who is a woman advocate. This is a woman, somebody who actually ensures to discuss the matters affecting women in our society. Is a serial entrepreneur and somebody who's very passionate about the empowerment of women. We have Mr. Segun Red Ayo Adebanjo in the building.
Thank you.
Good to have you.
Good morning. Thank you for having me here.
So when we were told we're talking about women empowerment and we're going to be having a guest, we assumed it was going to be a woman. So when we now saw Mr. Rex Segun, I was like, what is women's matter? How is that connected? So tell me, why are you so concerned, or why is women empowerment important to you?
Well, firstly, I was in many aspects raised by very powerful women. I mean, my mother and older sister played significant roles in my personal upbringing. Right. So I had first-hand experiences of the competences of women. But more importantly, looking into Nigeria's history, I noticed that in critical periods in our history, women have been the catalyst for political change. You could take instances like the Fumilayo Ransom Kuti, right, the About Women riots. And at this particular time in our history, with the direction of the country, I thought it's important that for women to maybe remember their power as catalysts for change. I mean, the ability to change this country and its direction actually lies in their hands right now, because they have very dynamic platforms for mobilizing. Whether it's in church groups or it's after-school programs or it's in women's societies, I think they're easier to mobilize. And also, I think women are also more, they're more sensitive to shaming, which I think is important to mobilizing collective action. They can shame each other. They're more sensitive to their reputations among each other. Okay, we'll continue talking about women in a second, but I must tell our viewers that your father, Pa Adebanjo, was recently passed on. I know you look so much like him, but I was just shocked when I saw you. Like, oh my God, I felt like I was seeing Pa Adebanjo. But how has it been since his demise? How has it been? I mean, it's been, he's somebody, he's a figure that Nigeria truly respects, and he's somebody who holds a lot of history in our nation. This nation's history cannot be told without your father. How has it been since his demise, and what have you been doing? It has actually been a very interesting experience, because, I mean, you only have one time to lose your father, and it's a very transformative. You might think he was 96, so it was expected. So I think the one thing I mostly feel is gratitude. I'm really proud of his legacy. So I'm really thankful that I got to experience, obviously, I know various people who lost their parents earlier. But more importantly, I think his representation as a man was really very important for me. And so I'm more in the very thankful phase as to, like, wow, that was my father. I feel blessed and honored by that experience.
Yes, so let me to add to that too, like, what do you miss about him? Like, did you guys have some personal experiences or things that memories that you guys used to share, things you used to do together, foods you'd like together? Oh,
particularly, yes, because I'm also very political. I'm very interested in political things. So even from a very young age, I used to go with him to Chief Awolowo's house, and we used to discuss events in the newspaper. So I missed those sessions late night.
You met Chief Awolowo?
Yes, actually. Wow. I was actually on the dining table. I was actually on the dining table with them when they were discussing this, the 1979 elections and their prospects for victory. And that was a very interesting experience for me.
Fantastic. I know you're here for women empowerment, but we'll come back to
you can't have Pa Adebanjo's son. I know ask you questions.
So you will pause by empowerment for a second. You have more questions on his dad?
I was going to ask, so are you going to go into that kind of, are you a part of Afenifere? Are you going to go into his
legacy, Yoruba socio-economic?
Well, I get asked that questions quite a bit, because people say, okay, are you going to fill his shoes? The interesting thing is, like, my father never raised us to fit into his shoes. He asked us to make our own shoes, hopefully bigger and better than his. And God willing, that's what we're going to do. So I don't think like another ever be another Pa Adebanjo per se. And I don't know, we'll see how things go. In terms of Afenifere, I definitely share their ideology, which is egalitarianism and make sure that there's equal opportunity for everybody, particularly education, which is something that I'm very passionate about. So in terms of ideology, definitely my political leanings are with Afenifere. But at this juncture in our nation, I'm actually very averse to being partisan.
Right.
And there's a reason for that. I think we're in a very critical phase now that there just really is an opportunity for divisive politics. I think what I would like to focus on are those things that we have consensus on, that we all agree, whether you're APC, Labour, whatever, it doesn't matter. Religion, ethnicity doesn't divide you on this. There's certain things we actually agree on. That can we just get that done? Security, education, maybe environmental issues and routes. Let's just focus and come have even conferences and iron those things out. One of the things we miss is like, if you look until the lead up to independence, where we were even more, we knew less about each other. We had conferences and talked about things, but we took the Europeans to bring us together. They were at the northern contingent and they ironed things out. They made progress. They had versions of the Constitution. We don't do that anymore. We don't talk across the divide. It's like the Igbos gather, the Yorubas gather, everyone's
We're more divided than we ever were.
Correct. So we should have that, we try and reverse that. Like the government and people should organize conferences where we actually talk and have common things that we agree on and say, okay, these we're divided on, we can work that out. But this ones, can we at least get this done? And those are the things I would like to focus on.
Okay, I'm just going to touch briefly on the family, the family legacy. I know it has a large family. What's the family unit looking like? Taking into cognizance that when some strong men pass, we begin to see divides among children, grandchildren. We're listening to the Wakala story very recently and the inheritance brouhaha. And what was the unifier for him to bring the children together?
Well, I think, well, two things. In my family, we're all very strong personalities, right? I mean, my father was a strong personality. My mother's a strong personality. All my siblings are strong personalities. So there's always going to be that dynamic, but it has nothing to do with like a fundamental divide. I mean, firstly, maybe I don't know whether it's about assets and things like that. I don't think we have any of those issues. It's not like, so my father's first, I guess, philosophy in life was, look, the only thing I owe you is education, you know, and he did a good job providing that. And after that, you're on your own. So I think that kind of changes the orientation in terms of everyone thinking.
That's great.
Let me go on a very short break. When we come back, hopefully we cannot go into women empowerment. I know that's something you're really passionate about also. Stay with us. We'll be right back.
Stay tuned. Your View will be right back.